Most toxic cultures don't start with bad people. They start with silence. If your team doesn't know what's really going on, they will fill the gap with fear. This one quarterly meeting across my team changed everything for us, and it is now a non-negotiable. As founders, we're often moving really fast, focused on our vision, focused on building solutions, and our team can feel left in the dark. When that happens, our team starts to fill those gaps with their own thoughts, their own explanations, and it creates a culture of mistrust, fear, and isolation. These are killers of culture and the agencies and connectivity and retention within an agency. They don't know why decisions are being made, what's really happening, where the agency is going, how certain their job position is. This uncertainty creates a chaos culture, and that culture will inevitably impact the success and the growth of the agency. That's why every quarter I run a town hall. One meeting, 1 hour long, company-wide, and it has completely changed our culture, the buy-in, and clarity across the company. Let me show you exactly how I run a town hall meeting, what the agenda looks like, and how simple this process can be for you to implement in your agency immediately. Hey guys, I'm Ben Gerster, and I scaled my digital marketing agency to over $400,000 in monthly revenue, taking us from grind mindset to growth mindset using these smart, scalable frameworks. Now, in this video, we're talking about the quarterly town hall. Now, as a company owner, for the longest time, I felt very insecure about my ability to lead as a true CEO. I was always grinding, always hustling, super talented in our services and meeting with clients and delivering to clients, but I didn't really know how to address my team, how to communicate clearly, how to align everyone on a singular vision and make sure that there was some transparency as to where the business was, where we were going next, and how they could play the biggest role in helping us get there. So a town hall meeting is the solution, a quarterly 1 hour meeting that is a company-wide meeting that is led by the founder that go through some of the key aspects of where the business is and where it is going. Let's look at the anatomy of this, but as we step into it, the game theory that I use here is that silence is what creates fear in a business. It is the unknowing of where the business is going. It is the uncertainty. This is one of the biggest culture killers in any business. And it's something that you'll see in most businesses' Glassdoor reviews, especially agencies, is that everybody felt disconnected from the founder, or they didn't know what leadership was working on, or they didn't know how the business was doing. That silence is a cancer in your company. Transparency is what will build trust with your team. Transparency is what will build trust with your team. But being efficient in how you communicate is important. As founders, we don't have that much time. We want to make sure that there is organized communication going to our team. This doesn't mean that you need to talk to your team every single day. This means at minimum that you hold this town hall meeting every single quarter. So, what do we do in a town hall? What we start with is pillar number 1. We're going to review the previous quarter and the results from the previous quarter. So what did we say we were going to do? What were our big initiatives, our big projects, our big targets? And I'm talking about us growing the business and advancing the business, solving problems in the business, not necessarily what were our projects for our clients, but what were we actually working on in our business? What were we truly focused on? All right, let's break down the anatomy of a quarterly town hall meeting, starting with pillar number 1, where we review the previous quarter's success, wins, and progress overall. We start with, what did we say we'd do last quarter? What was our goals for last quarters? Usually every single quarter, we are meeting as a leadership team and we are establishing quarterly goals, quarterly rocks, the priorities, the biggest, most important projects that we need to complete in order to keep our agency growing on the path that we've set in our long-term vision. Every quarter we set these goals, and so these are things that we want to be able to give an update on to the rest of our team. Make sure that everybody understands where progress was made, where we completed some of these projects, and were any of them left open. This is important because the team needs to see momentum. They need to feel like we're making progress. A lot of times, these teams are involved in these projects, so getting this moment to represent the progress that we're making as an agency is incredibly powerful, and everybody feels that momentum in these meetings. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to look at the financial health of the organization over that last quarter. Now, finances can be a little bit concerning for founders to share with the entire company, but I would advise you to lean in and make sure everybody understands where the organization is financially. Not only is this a key component of the goals that we do want to communicate across the organization, such as our revenue growth goals or our margin, or our profitability KPIs, such as our salaries to AGI, some of these other KPIs that we may be tightly managing and are really big health indicators of the company. But what's also very important is that everybody knows where we stand. Because there has been so many times as you're going to be building this company and as you're going to be taking these big risks and starting to really take steps up, that you need everybody bought in on the investments that are being made. They are part of that. They are taking the risks with you. So they do need to know that there is financial security in the company, number one. Number two, they need the opportunity to be empathetic towards any of the challenges financially that the organization might be facing. I know that in the past, some of our employees have been thinking, gosh, we're crushing it right now. I should be getting a raise. When in reality, we were in a heavy investment phase where we were reinvesting all of those profits into the growth of our team, into the tools that we were using, into new research and development projects to help us get better at what we were doing. And so having them understand where we stood financially allowed them to get the big picture on why is it that they weren't just being given a raise at that moment. So this is an important part, is making sure they are very clear on the financial picture of the company. And then, of course, big wins across departments. We want to celebrate where progress is being made. And again, we want everybody to see that work, even though it might come from a department that they're not directly involved in, and they may not understand the successes that have been had in that department. This will help everybody feel very optimistic, enthusiastic, and pumped up about what is happening in the business. All right, pillar two. This is where we set the vision as the founder for what lies ahead in the next quarter. So again, we've met with our leadership team. We've made plans for this next quarter. We have a list of big projects. We call them rocks, big priorities, and really important initiatives that are going to help the agency take that next step forward. So we want to make sure everybody's very clear on what are the biggest priorities that we have in this quarter, how is our team focused around those priorities, and where do they play a role in them. The other thing we want to do is we want to come back to finances. We want to show them what are the targets for this quarter. What are we looking to achieve? What are the major KPIs or scorecard indicators that we want to have a direct impact on? A lot of times that can be the lifetime value of customers that you're trying to improve. Maybe you're trying to increase your new customer rate on a monthly basis, or maybe you're trying to decrease your churn rate. But any of those financial targets and growth goals that you're trying to hit, very important for everybody to understand those, to rally behind them, and to help support those targets. And finally, pillar three. This is where we want to give the whole team a voice. And I do this in two ways. First and foremost, I want to welcome in our other leaders that are part of leadership or our department heads. I want them to have a voice in this call. This shouldn't just be the founder speaking to the company. Yes, the founder plays a major role in being the leader and being the visionary of the agency. And they do want to hear from the founder. But it's important that they see representation from all leaders in the company, and that each area of the company has a representative, has a voice, has a place in this meeting to share updates on what they're working on, where there were wins in their department, and what they're going to be really focused on in this next quarter. So I'd like to see other people talking on this call and providing those types of updates, both from the past and the future view of where the agency's at. The other thing I like to have is Q&A from everybody in the company. This is truly an open forum for anybody to raise their hand and ask any questions they have on their mind. It could be about finances, it could be about the rocks that we're working on for the next quarter. It could just be something that they didn't see talked about in the meeting that they felt was top of mind for them. And sometimes the team is a little bit shy or they're not really comfortable speaking up in this type of a format. And so I encourage that Q&A. I'll even ask questions to the team to get them talking because that feedback is very important. I want to hear from them. Now, on the point of feedback, maybe I didn't hear questions there, but I want to survey the team after the town hall to see if there was any questions that they didn't ask. How did they like the town hall? How are they feeling leaving that town hall? And that feedback is super important for me to get so that I am connected and I am listening and I'm hearing from my team and I'm able to lead them as effectively as possible. And again, at the end here, the empathy and the visibility that we're going to create across our team to stay connected and to build trust with one another is absolutely powerful for the agency. That transparency is going to reduce anxiety across our team. It's going to answer questions that otherwise would be filled with fears, and it's going to build great trust. Town halls aren't fluff. They're clarity at scale. 1 hour, 1 quarter to align your entire team around the mission. This is how you lead, especially when the stakes are high. If you found this video helpful, click that like button, hit the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more content to help you agency founders build better, smarter businesses and improve your lives. Until the next time, stay hungry, stay focused, and keep hustling.